useless waste of time. I don't care what's on your mind. The truth was never for us to find. We could lock horns all day, but really who cares what we say? We will be lost before we fade. I can almost hear it cry, this feeling you somehow deny. Just how do you fail to hear the roaring, grinding of your gears? As you dictate the laws, your future self honors the flaws. And some of us who are awake watch as you are fixing your mistakes. Are you understand the subtle movements of the land? Within the limits of these chains, there's only so much to explain. One day you will find this wall, the one that's infinitely tall. And as we move the hour around, are we just dancing in the sand? It's a useless waste of time. I don't care what's on your mind. The truth was never for us to find. We could lock horns all day, but really who cares?
We're live. Shining, we're live.
Ray! We're ready to talk about One Piece. We're a bunch of nerds.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just turn the music off. I don't wanna. If I need it later, somebody will tell me like, it was too quiet.
It's too quiet.
Where's the mute? Where's like some music for those of us who don't care about what you're talking about? I don't give a shit.
We don't care,
No.
even though we're watching the stream.
Man, dumb. Anyway, yes, the One Piece, the Egghead Arc technically is finished. I say technically because we definitely have like a couple of wrap-up chapters after this, at least 2.
Oh yeah, there's always like a chapter or two dedicated to wrapping up an arc before we move on.
Before we move on, we're gonna get officially into Elbaf in September, I'm sure, unless he's got like another big break coming up in between this arc and the next, which I would not blame him.
We are so close.
We are so close to Elbaf, which we'll definitely discuss our hopes for Elbaf later on for sure. But yeah, the Void Fortnight is this chapter. I have read this already. Shiny has not. So while I am streaming this to Shiny to see and for you to see, my reactions will not be as genuine as they were when I read them. When I read the scans a couple of days ago.
I'm just happy I get to see Yamato again.
Yeah, Yamato's the cover story. He's been on that for like the last couple of chapters. What are you talking about?
I know. I love Yamato's character. So I get excited every time I see him.
Yeah, he's doing his pilgrimage right now, and he's no longer being hated on by the kids of Curry, which is, I believe, where they are.
I think so.
Yeah, because that's where
Sure.
he started. Because he's doing the whole Odin journey right now, and he was told to go to Curry. Yeah, and they're bonding over a pot of Odin.
It's very cute.
It's very cute. It's good. I'm happy to see this. But anyway, here it's just everyone's knocked out.
Everybody's sleeping the page.
Everyone, the last chapter, not just the grunts are knocked out. I'd like to direct you to a very particular person in the bottom middle of the right page.
Oh.
Yeah, even the vice admirals were knocked out by that hockey blast from last fucking chapter.
Oh yeah, no, that was insane.
I didn't think that the vice admirals would be down too.
I was expecting I was gonna expect something. I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was going to be that serious of a scale.
I figured that they would have been the only ones still standing on the Navy side, you know?
Yeah.
But
But
yeah.
everybody is unresponsive.
Everybody is out. The Seraphim, or at least S-Snake, is still standing. We don't see the others, so it's possible that they might be knocked out. It's weird that the hockey was able to determine friend from foe, apparently.
Yeah.
Because the Giants are fine. The Straw Hats are going to be fine. Like, the only ones knocked out are the ones we had to worry about.
Yeah. Also, the dialogue of, was that even stronger than red hairs? There was no hostility to it.
Uh-huh. Like, that's a hell of a comparison at the moment. Because that means that the strongest hockey that the Giants have encountered is... And this is recent, so it could be a recency bias thing that's going on for him. Because remember, literally a day ago was Shanks just fucking taking out King in world.
Yeah.
A kid in world. Like, it has not
Poor
been
kid.
that long since poor kid...
It always gets folded.
Before kid decided he was going to walk up on an emperor that hadn't been beat on for about 6 hours. And thought he could win. When the last
My
time
boy really said, "I'm ready for the big fish."
I guess we're gonna talk about the kid chapter right now, really quick, because my God, he is an idiot. Like,
He really
yes,
is.
I understand that a lot of people think that there is a bias towards Law and a hatred towards King, but Kid. I keep saying King, Kid. But
I think it's pretty canon, actually, when you think about it.
In this case, yes, both of them ended up going up against an emperor and losing. The only difference is Law didn't pick that fight.
Yeah, no, Law was just kind of minding his own business,
and he was forced into that fight.
And he's like, "What the hell? I didn't want to be a part of this, but I guess we're gonna have to do something about it."
Guess we're doing this now. Wait, why am I a woman for half of a second? God, that was so fun.
Yeah, that was.
I hope
it
that's
was random.
I hope this is not the last time we see
enjoyed
that.
it.
I hope it's not the last time we see that. I want to see that again. I want use that disease again.
So
Q.
random.
That
It was so random.
fucking hilarious.
But yeah, no. Every time he got his ass beat in Wano. At the beginning of Wano.
Because all he does is pick fights that he definitely can't win and has no chance of learning something to pull him out. Because he's not the main character.
He's not, and
He
it
thinks
sucks
he is.
It sucks because I like Kid. I like him.
Kid's fine. Like, he's not a
I
terrible...
like his character.
He's not a terrible character. He's just an idiot.
He gets,
Eh.
dominated everywhere he goes.
Yeah. But yeah, we're setting sail for Elbath, and
I'm so excited.
like I'm used to the normal differences inside. Honestly, this
Poor Luffy.
he is out. Everybody is celebrating. Usopp's super ready to go. Bonnie is finally just gonna get some time to just be with her dad. This fucking poor 12-year-old.
Bonnie and Kuma. They make me so emotional.
I'm glad that they got away with Kuma's body, because I'm hoping to see in the next couple of chapters a sort of, if not a Viking funeral, then maybe putting him to rest somewhere.
Yeah.
Because like
I like he's been Kuma as a character throughout the entire series since his introduction has been through so much.
We get to see all of it. That flashback covers all the way up to just before Marineford.
It's just
it hurts.
Oh, it makes me so sad.
It's gonna be animated soon, and it's gonna hurt worse because we're gonna get to hear the pain and suffering in their voices.
I don't know if I'm ready to hear Bonnie screaming and crying out for Kuma.
I
I don't know if I'm ready to hear that.
I
Um,
I just got over the fact that we got the Reverie to go to, which that's gonna be a fucking time for the anime only watchers.
Oh my god, we're going to Elbath. I'm so excited.
It's so good. It would. Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a good time. If it's a short one, it'll be fine. If it's gonna be a long one, oh my god, we're gonna be there for like 4 years.
Yeah, we're gonna be there for so long. I genuinely, like a part of me thought that after Wano there was gonna be Elbath, but Egghead thoroughly surprised me with a lot of stuff.
None of us going into this arc thought that Egghead was going to be as long or as crazy as it was. Everyone thought this was just going to be a stop-off arc. A very, just a little reset for us to calm down from what happened in Wano and a little bit after Wano. No, we're here to see how the whole world is changing.
Yeah, because a lot happened in Wano.
So much happened while we were in Wano.
Story-wise and character-wise. So it was like, oh, maybe, it's time for a short arc for like maybe a few chapters or whatever, like an adventure, a fun little adventure. And then we get to Egghead and the world is tipped on its head again.
Everything goes insane. We've got the whole situation with the other 3 billion boys, which Luffy is the only survivor in that club. Mm-hmm. And by far had the worst time out of that. Because he didn't just go up against an emperor who decided they were going to try to take his shit. No, he went up against a fucking Buster Call that was 10 times bigger than anyone that has ever happened in the history of the world before. An admiral, and all 5 of the 5 elders.
Yeah, could you imagine if Kid or Law went this?
They would have been dead.
They would have been smeared across the floor.
I don't even know if they would have made it past York, to be honest.
And that's true.
Okay, Law definitely would. Kid, he would have fallen for something.
He's too much of a dumbass.
And the Straw Hats really did have that struggle because half of them got turned to stone.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the fact that apparently Hancock's lineage factor contains her undying affection for Luffy, saved their asses.
That's funny. That was funny.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that, but Luffy was like, you gotta turn my friends back. She's like, don't look at me, okay?
Because there was a moment when they first introduced the Seraphs. There was a moment where I was like, oh, it's a mini Boa Hancock. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, it's a mini Boa Hancock.
It turns out it's a mini Boa Hancock who actually will take orders. But yeah, so who knows how that's going to work out into the future. Bonnie, of course, surviving means that all of the Pacifista now are liabilities to the world government.
Yeah.
Because she has the hierarchy over all of them.
So since she's in that position, yeah, I could see where, it might be a little bit of a liability to continue having them around.
Because she's got to stick with the Straw Hats after this. There's nowhere else for her to go.
Yeah, I can't imagine her just, going off somewhere after they deal with whatever they're going to do with Kuma.
Yeah.
Whatever is going to happen with Kuma. And then her just like, all right, okay, thanks, bye. And just dipping,
she doesn't have to become a Straw Hat, which I have an argument for where I think our last Straw Hat might be, when I think about things a little bit more. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But she doesn't have to become a Straw Hat, but I think that she's going to be our Law for what the first half of the New World was, where she's just going to be sticking around for a bit.
Yeah.
At least until we know we can get her someplace where we know she'll be safe.
I could see like an alliance forming between them or something like that.
I mean,
Like you said with Law.
yeah. At this point, an alliance is already formed. The government is going to be saying that they were in an alliance when this whole news thing goes out. You know.
I'm so excited.
And there has to be a bounty increase after this. There has to.
Oh, too much has happened.
They took on a fucking 100 battleship fleet, an admiral, 10 vice admirals, and all 5 of the elders. And one.
So, to my recollection, I think all of their bounties are still like dead or alive. Do you think they're just gonna get rid of the alive part and just put?
The Navy keeps the dead or alive part because they like public executions. Yeah, so they can be like, we caught this extremely dangerous person, and if now that we're gonna kill them, let that be an example to you. That kind of shit, you know.
Well, I know because Sanji's is alive.
No, it's dead or alive again.
So, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
Maybe I
It
skipped
was
that.
only alive while German Kingdom was still part of.
Oh,
the world
probably for the
government.
whole cake island. Okay, nonsense. Yeah. Okay.
But now
I thought it was still that way.
Yeah, but
Guess
now
I
that
didn't pay
they're
attention to that.
now that they're not part of the world government anymore because they were found out to be trying to ally with Big Mom way back, they've been officially left out, and he was changed back to dead or alive.
Okay.
You
Okay.
good with everything
Makes
on this
sense.
page?
Yes.
We got dead.
I love the Luffy and Nami shot.
The Luffy
It's so funny.
It's so good. We got dead Vegapunk down there in the corner, and Sanji is trying to figure him out a little bit because he was saying some crazy stuff apparently at one point.
Makes sense. It's Vegapunk.
And now we're in a flashback 2 weeks ago.
Hooray! There's an anomaly. An abnormality.
An
Never mind.
abnormality.
Ugh. English is hard. Ugh, especially when it's talking about science and
There's a lot
junk.
There's a lot to read. Take your time. Tell me when you're ready.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say that I love Vegapunk 1's design?
Shaka?
Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad we never
It's
got to see
so
his
good.
face. Wonder what he looked like under that thing.
Like give him the big king reveal.
I mean, yeah. That's kind of what Oda does. Like, anytime he gives somebody a mask, he usually reveals what their face looks like. You you gotta love Vega.
God, York.
You gotta love that Vegapunk immediately jumped to Lilith, because
She's evil.
that was the evil portion of him when he created
Yeah.
he created her. I still can't get over the fact that technically all of these Vegapunks, yeah, they're Vegapunk, but these are his kids.
Yeah.
These are basically his children.
they're all extensions of himself. So
in
Eh.
one shape or form. So it took them about a week, and they already figured out it's York. So I want you to keep that in mind. He knew it was York at one point before everything started happening. But remember his reaction when he found out when it was revealed chapter by chapter. That was
yeah, wait.
Uh-huh.
Hang on.
That wasn't the reaction of a man who knew what was going on.
So what's going on then? Did he know? Did he not know? God, York. Everything to do with York is just
Can we talk about how stupid her plan is?
yes.
She wants to be the only remaining Vegapunk, but she also wants to be a celestial dragon.
There's just no way.
She has to know that they are gonna work her ass crazy, right? She had to know that.
I don't understand how she would think that this entire plan was like something so genius that one, nobody would figure it out, and two, nobody would suspect her to be behind it.
It's because her greed.
Forgive me, Lilith.
You got to appreciate the fact that he immediately was like, "Holy shit, I was wrong. I'm so sorry."
I'm sorry for blaming you like every other time something goes bad.
Well, what's funny is we never actually see him blame Lilith for anything after this. Like, even when the whole thing is happening, he never pegged Lilith once. We all did, because, she was the evil, and, York looked like she couldn't do anything.
Do anything. Yeah.
Except for eat, sleep, and poop.
The Void Century. Oh my god.
Like,
another flashback 6 days ago. Yay!
Well, this is all one flashback.
Yeah.
Just,
well, yeah.
We're coming up until things get to where they should be.
The wrapping up stage.
up
Put everything in a nice little bow.
Lulucia is now a second Ennie's lobby, a hole in the fucking ocean.
That was insane when I first read that.
It's even more
insane.
It's even more crazy after Vegapunk's message, because the whole reason why it's just a constant waterfall of water going in is because it's not just a hole that was made in the ocean specifically. It's a hole that was made in a mountain that is now filling with water.
It's just so crazy. It's like, it's gone now.
It's gone. The top of that mountain is gone now, and there is water going into whatever the deepness of the hole that Pluton made. Because it's pretty much confirmed that that's Pluton at this point.
There's just no other way around it.
And down in the bottom corner, Vegapunk is starting to realize how stupid it was to isolate his own creed. Smartest man in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Smartest man in the world.
Even the smartest man in the world can be stupid sometimes.
Absolutely. We know he's the smartest man in the world because he definitely just fucking pulled one over on the world government, who thought they were just so genius throughout this entire thing. Saint Saturn is the creator of all his own problems in this arc.
I love when that happens.
It's great. It's great. I hope he's dead by the end of this, because I don't know if you watch like Grand Line Review or not. YouTube channel.
No.
He talks about One Piece stuff. He's made a very good point. Saint Saturn has been used up as a villain. At this point, if he continues forward in the story, all he is going to be is another Jack.
That's true.
Where essentially all his use is going to be is to be beat up by somebody. And that's it.
But think of the after effects of that happening.
But we have an out for him to still be here but not be here. Because if you'll recall, somebody touched him during the opening portions of the fights. Katarina Devon and Alger were here on the island for some purpose. And it seems that purpose was to get a high-ranking official's identity, essentially. Because her ability seems to work a little bit like the clone fruit, where she just has to touch somebody and she can take on their appearances. How much else she can do, I don't know.
Which is a very broken power when you think about it.
Which also is why people are starting to theorize that it's not actually Luffy that was meant to destroy Fishman Island, but it's going to be Katarina Devon looking like Luffy. Yeah, because it's heavily hinted at the end of Fishman Island that the island is still gonna get destroyed because Charlie is never wrong.
Yeah.
So it's just that the timing wasn't specifically then, but eventually something is gonna happen and Luffy is gonna be at the center of it, or someone who looks like him.
That's gonna be interesting.
Especially since Mudboy is going to Blackbeard and is going to tell him about the ancient weapons. Because he knows about the one in Wano and Shirahoshi.
The world's gonna get so much more interesting.
Oh my god, everything is going to go to shit so fast.
Everything is just gonna
But they
fall
won't,
apart.
They won't be out of the loop because apparently Elbath gets newspapers.
Oh,
Because remember, the whole reason the Giants show up was because, oh yeah, it's just like they said in the newspaper. So they apparently won't be cut off in Albeth like they were in Wano.
that was actually one of my favorite reasons that I liked Wano so much is because they were cut off.
Yeah,
So they had no idea all that stuff was happening until they got out of Wano.
yeah. But now we're in like the final arc, so they do need to be caught up on stuff.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Like writing wise, it makes sense.
Things are gonna be building very quickly throughout
You
this.
want your characters to be on top of something they're going to be a part of. Like it's just
necessary.
yeah. It's already too late.
It's too late. Oh yeah, he brings up a very interesting thing that I didn't realize the first time I was doing a read through of Wano, but on my second read through last night, which I got through very quickly, the escape ship actually survived, and I missed that the first time through.
Really?
Yeah, those researchers are alive.
Oh.
Yeah, and you know why? Because the Giants.
To reread it.
Because the Giants came across them before the Navy could do anything. So they just happened to be going in the direction that the giant warrior pirates were coming from, and that saved their lives.
What is the world government?
A fucking pile of failures.
If I must die, it won't be for nothing.
You gotta love this. You gotta love that this is that he took agency in the fact that he knew he was gonna die, and they set all this up. This is we're seeing them do the entire setup for the big message that was gonna come out.
Yeah.
Also, he didn't put the snail in the robot when we thought he put the snail in the robot, as this portion of the chapter proves.
Hmm.
Yeah, they put that in there a long time ago. And by a long time ago, I mean like a week ago.
Yeah, no. It was wow. Okay, that
Mhm.
makes sense.
And here you go.
Oh.
That's why they reacted so genuinely.
Because they did know.
And then he
But
and then he left himself a letter, which basically said,
it's about your research into the Void Century. Wow.
"Hey, when it comes to time to die, just die." What? I love this. This panel right here is my favorite panel of the entire chapter.
Stella, Straw Hat, the Emperor of the Sea, has landed here with Bonnie.
What? CP6 has landed. I think that was supposed to be CP0. That might be a translation error. What? We're surrounded by Navy ships. What? Admiral and St. Saturn are here. What? That is just us throughout the entire fucking arc.
Huh? What do you mean they're here?
What are you talking about?
Oh,
This
why?
was supposed to just be a nice, simple arc. After Wano, what do you mean we're dealing with an admiral and one of the fucking elders?
Got a death wish or something? Certainly not, but I feel like my death might cause something to happen.
Yes.
It sure will. A bunch of people will be upset. I can't let you just die. Oh, one more thing. When it comes to the One Piece, what now? I want your crew to be the ones who get it.
Vegapunk is back to us. The Straw Hats.
We have his sponsorship.
We have his sponsorship. We have inherited his will. Poor Luffy.
He's just a raisin.
I love. No, later. He's so sad that he can't be part of this toast technically, but I love the fact that it's Usopp yelling that we're heading to Elbath.
I'm so excited.
So excited. This entire arc has been just insanity after insanity the entire way through.
It feels like the snowball that was supposed to stop after Wano got punted down the mountain.
But then it never stopped.
Breakneck speeds.
It's been growing and growing and growing into the point where it's basically a giant, like, cartoonishly sized snow boulder at this point.
Yeah.
And it's been falling towards us the entire time. And much like a horror movie like non-protagonist, we never got out of the way.
Oh my god. This is crazy.
Oh my god, it's still so much to process.
It really is. But it also makes sense why he was so surprised with York.
Yes. Like,
because it didn't make sense. Like, in the beginning of the chapter, I was like, wait a second.
What do you mean he knew everything?
How?
And then as it turns out, in order for us to keep this secret, because we know we're bad actors, to the point that earlier on in the series, or not earlier on, but a good couple of chapters back, when the message started that went out to the entire world, York was like, "How could you have lied? I know you. You're a terrible actor and an even worse liar. That was genuine. How did you know to set all this up?" And now we know.
Which should have been, a hint that something was up, but didn't really look into it.
There's definitely a couple more things that need to be, for me personally, there's a couple of things that need to be addressed still in the wrap up. One of them being, who moved Luffy and gave him food? Who did it? We needed to know. Or I need to know.
True.
I don't know if there's a lot of people who care, but somebody moved Luffy and gave him food.
But I care. I need to know.
I mean, if it wasn't for that, the entirety of this would have been over at that point.
That's true.
Because Luffy is probably the MVP of the entire arc fight-wise. Because if it wasn't for Gear 5th, none of the Straw Hats would have made it out of this.
Oh, yeah, no. Because of how unpredictable Gear 5 really is.
And I can't wait for the baseball scene to be animated.
Oh my god.
We're so far away from it at this point because Kuma's backstory is going to take like 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, and I'm going to cry and each one.
Oh my god, it's going to hurt like hell.
I'm going to need tissues.
There's so much to cover that's going to happen in that. and you know they're gonna add some stuff in. We're gonna get to see the God Valley incident for a little bit. Baby Garp and baby Roger. The young men that they were, to the point that Roger still had the fucking straw hat.
Yeah. The anime loves Gear 5.
Oh.
the anime loves
I'm so happy
Gear
what
5.
they do with Gear 5 in the anime. It's so good.
It's just so like chewy, and I like it.
It's so chewy and it's so crazy and it's just great.
Looks like he's just like a bundle of Laffy Taffy just shooting around on the screen. It's great.
Amazing. And like both voice actors do great. The Japanese and the English voice actor do amazing.
Oh yeah.
With Gear 5 Luffy.
From what I've like scenes of what I've seen like, you know, on social media or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like the voice actors. Oh my god. It's crazy.
Which in the next couple of weeks we're gonna have the first 10 episodes of the dub for Egghead. Like, they confirmed that was like early September that those were gonna be coming out.
Oh my god! Wow,
yeah, it's great. I can't wait.
They're moving really fast.
We might actually catch up depending on how long it takes to do the next set.
Oh my god! Could you imagine the anime catching up with the manga?
I want some more. No, well, no. I'm not talking about the manga. I'm talking about the English dub catching up to the sub.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
The anime
like, could you imagine that?
The anime is never gonna catch up to the manga. No way in
Those
hell.
poor souls in the animation studio.
Yeah, no, they will always forever be behind. And
but yeah, now the
English dub catching up is gonna be
the
insane.
dub catching up to the sub. That's that's insane.
I want Somali cast. Give me Somali cast, baby. I want that English version the same day as the Japanese version.
But yeah, I think I might have to genuinely reread both Wano and Egghead.
I do need to reread Wano or rewatch Wano if I would just want to go with the anime. Because, like I was saying before the stream started, the pacing feels perfectly fine reading, just binge reading.
Yeah.
It feels completely different from reading week to week. Or in some cases, 2 to 3 weeks in between. And like even the portions like where we ended on Emmett a couple of times didn't feel as strange or as bad as when it was coming like week to week, because he used Emmett to like cap off a lot of chapters throughout the final portion of the arc.
Yeah, I don't see any issue with the pacing.
A lot of people, yeah. You know,
I personally don't, but
yeah, like we talked about, there are people who get bitchy about the way the pacing starts to go after a certain amount of time passes.
Would you rather a mangaka, it doesn't even have to be Oda, like any mangaka, take the time to actually like fully flesh out what they want to tell in their story and then put it up like weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, or would you rather them rush it, it looks sloppy, it not make sense, and then you have a whole new reason to complain about?
Yeah, well, see, they wouldn't be happy either way, you know that.
Yeah, people always find a way to complain about anything.
Yep.
But yeah, no, but just the way that now that we are wrapping up Egghead, the way that Wano seamlessly flows into Egghead, now that we've seen how that happens, I think I need to read both arcs, reread them, just so I can understand everything.
Yeah, I mean it's a much faster read now, so.
Yeah, because just binge it. And also, I have to prepare because we are going to Elbath.
We're going to fucking Elbath.
Yay! After years of waiting, we're finally going.
Especially after this image right here. This image of Usopp. He has to have a major story moment. We cannot Frankie him like we did here on Egghead.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, look at him. He's literally, he might not be the biggest person drawn in that image, but he's like front and center.
He is front and center. With Luffy just off to the side being wanting people to hold off until he can actually do stuff.
It looks like a stress toy.
It does. It's great. I love like powered down after Gear 5 Luffy. Because
Oh yeah,
as
he looks like a shriveled old man.
because as
So
Bonnie said
funny.
a few chapters ago, freedom is exhausting.
Yeah.
Which to everybody who got pissy about her like pulling Gear 5, it wasn't
Oh,
anywhere
yeah.
near as powerful, and it never will be as powerful as the actual Gear 5. And the reason for it is because she doesn't have the same creativity as Luffy.
Yeah, no, the whole reason. Okay, so let's get into this debate as I put away my water bottle.
Yeah.
Let's get into this debate. Let's get into this side of the conversation. The whole reason Nika or Gear 5 works so well is because it's Luffy
Mhm.
being Luffy.
It's
like, it's peak Luffy.
it's peak Luffy with that childlike wonder and creativity that he never lost.
when he was in Wano, when he was fighting Kaido, and he first got to that transformation, when he says, "This is my peak," he really means it.
Really
like
means
this is peak Luffy.
And
So
like
it's just weird, that whole
yeah, it's just a bunch of just like fucking shonen bros who are mad, or power. I shouldn't say shonen bros. I should say power scaling bros who are mad because they don't like
and
the
getting
fact
sweaty
that
because
they don't like the fact that a 12-year-old like just suddenly shot up in power. Oh, that's so stupid. Oda can't write anything. He sucks, man. Like, dude.
But if you actually took a step back and maybe if you didn't understand it, maybe reread the chapter before,
Or the
and
entire
actually
arc. Just go back and read the whole thing.
opened your mind a little bit, it makes sense.
It's perfectly fine, and it's good for her to have that because it is her literally liberating herself from her
all the pain, the
from
grief,
everything that was caused by Saint Saturn, and it just because God, Saint Saturn sucks.
yeah.
He is a terrible creature. I'm not even gonna call him a human being. He doesn't qualify.
It's a whole thing of, I think, when the chapter comes out and people are like, oh, I don't understand why Bonnie is having Gear 5. I think people are some people, not everybody,
Not everybody.
have a hard time
A vocal
having
portion
the
of
difference.
a very
Yes.
vocal portion of the fan base, as in every fan base.
They seem to divide the fact that Joy Boy, Nika, and Gear 5 are two different things when they're not. Because once again, for everybody in the back, it is peak Luffy. So it's freedom. That's what Nika stands for.
Yes.
So when Bonnie got it, I was over the moon when Bonnie
yeah,
got it. I was like, oh
loved
my
it.
god!
I thought
like,
that was
it was
such
amazing.
It was such a cool thing, and the fact that she got to kind of get the last hit on Saint Saturn, like Luffy definitely helped.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Like,
it was
a lot.
definitely a huge assist.
Yes.
But so that's why I'm not peeved at the whole
No.
Bonnie getting quote unquote Gear 5, because it's Nika, and Nika stands for freedom.
Yeah.
And she was finally getting to that point where she can have that freedom. So obviously she's going to take on the personification of freedom, which is Nika. So
which is not just Nika, but also Luffy. Like when he said, "That's me when I'm most free," at the beginning of the arc, which she remembers just before doing what, like the transformation.
yeah.
So it's like
I never really understood like all the meatheads and the sweaty heads that are like, it doesn't make sense. This sucks.
They're power.
She...
They're power scalers who seem to continue to forget that One Piece is not about power scaling. Oda hates that shit.
It's more about story and characters, not about battles and things like that, in my opinion.
I mean, that's even in just Oda's opinion, because the whole reason why Gear 5 existed is because he hates the whole shonen battle trope anyway, and he knew he was falling into that more with hockey, so he was like, okay, I gotta make Gear 5 happen. Because Gear 5 was always gonna happen.
Oh, I love Gear 5 so much.
Can we
It's
talk?
so good.
Can we talk about going to Wano? How much more of a beast that Kaido is?
Yeah, no, Kaido... So, when we were first introduced to the four emperors, and we only really know Shanks, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay,
And a little bit
we
of
know
Whitebeard.
Shanks, and a little bit of
We had a
Whitebeard at
little
the
bit
time.
of Whitebeard at the time.
But Whitebeard, from what we seen when we were first introduced at the concept of four emperors, he was like, he wasn't at his peak.
No. He was definitely
So,
past that at
not.
that moment.
He was not at his peak. He was past his prime. He was still strong as hell,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
get me wrong. But we only really knew about Whitebeard and Shanks. So it was like, okay, we know Shanks, and we know he's this supposed big guy in the whole pirating world. We don't really know a lot about Shanks. So there wasn't really any, like, indicator of, like, the four emperors are really not to be messed with.
Yeah, not quite yet.
And then we ran into Big Mom, and then that whole thing, and it was like, okay, these guys are trouble. We can't fight them, so we have to run away. And they had to run away from Big Mom until Wano happened.
Until Wano happened, like literally
Where
a week later in timeline.
They couldn't run. Their backs were against the wall. They had to make alliances with people that they didn't really think they would need to help them in the grand fight of everything. But Kaido is a monster.
And-
oh my god.
And the proof of that is just like Kizaru. Kizaru in this chapter, he's a sad man. But he's a powerful
Kizaru-
sad man.
Kizaru is going to be a very interesting character to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Like, side note.
He's like one of the main contenders for who gave Luffy food.
So he's a very interesting person to keep an eye on.
Yeah. But Kizaru basically showed us what we needed to know. And that is Gear 5, it can drop people a lot easier than we thought, because the final fight between Luffy and Kaido went for quite a while after he got Gear 5. But that's because Kaido was just a whole different beast.
There's a reason before the whole Luffy and Kaido fight actually happened that it was called Roof Piece.
Oh my
because
god.
it was so long to get Luffy to fight Kaido in the first place. And then we're like, yeah, he's here. It's going to be settled soon. And we're like,
Nope.
No, it's not.
Not even close.
Gotta love the anime onlys.
Oh, man.
How naive they can be.
We were there once. We felt the same thing.
Yeah.
When
Until I realized there's a manga of this?
Well, no, I'm talking about it when we were reading the manga weekly. You think that people weren't feeling the exact same when the manga happened and he got up on the roof and he did that big old punch on Kaido?
Oh, God.
You think that Red Rock didn't make us all think, oh, yeah, he's got this? And then we're like 40 chapters later, it's like oh, no.
The entirety of Wano, now that I think about it, was oh yeah, Luffy's got this. He doesn't got this.
He doesn't got this.
He doesn't have this.
Oh no, he's dead.
But he went to the prison. He has this, power up buff with his hockey, and he's gonna go up there, he's gonna kick his ass, and he doesn't have this because he got downed by somebody not relevant to the fight, and then
Huh?
like, oh, he has this now.
No, he never got down by anybody not relevant to the fight. The only person who ever knocked him down was Kaido.
No, when he got shot with what was his name? What's the character's name?
Huh?
I thought he was, brought down in the middle before he acquired Gear 5. Am I dreaming?
So no. Okay, so he was on his last leg at that time period, where he was going to go in with one last Gear 4, and that was going to be the settler of things. Either he was going to win or he was going to lose. Him and Kaido were charging at each other, and then one of the CP0 guys came in and interfered. But
yeah, that's what I mean.
He didn't shoot him or harm him anyway. He distracted him, essentially. And Kaido
see, this is what I'm saying. I need to reread Wano.
No.
Okay, so
Kaido is the only one who ever...
That's what I meant.
Yeah, Kaido is the only one who ever dropped Luffy. Yes, the CP0 guy had a hand in what was essentially the killing blow on Luffy, because he definitely died there for a second.
There's just no way he didn't. He got distracted and then he got smushed. Like, there's just no way he didn't.
Oh. And poor Kaido's face at that time period, getting Odin'd once again.
Yeah, getting cock blocked
He
because
just
he just wants a really good
he
fight
wants a
and
really good fight, and then somebody comes in and ruins it.
ruins the fun.
Um, but yeah, just seeing the fact that Luffy literally took out Kizaru not once but basically twice throughout this arc. Which
Mm-hmm.
can I? Oh God, what chapter was it? Um,
Which is a big contrast before the whole Marineford debacle. Can we just point that out? How much that how much times has
oh
changed?
yeah. Like Luffy went
Because
straight for him once he got up to the fucking uh laboratory area. I can't remember what they call it. The labraphase, I think is what they call it.
yeah, something like that.
When did it
Uh,
when did it happen? What chapter was it? It's not this chapter. That's the flashback chapter.
we are not going back into that.
That's okay. I just read it again last night. I'm good. Maybe it was '09. Yeah, it was '09. This moment.
uh,
Fucking Gum Dawn symbol.
I love Luffy so much.
Oda has so much fun with Gear 5 and I love it.
Oh, and you can tell like before. I don't want to say. Well, I guess you can say
This
it.
is spoiler
He
town.
was-
We're good. We don't gotta hold nothing back.
Well, it's not really a spoiler, but like when you after the whole reveal of Gear 5 as, as an entity as a whole,
Uh-huh.
you really think back on moments in the manga before
Oh, yeah.
Wano where it's like, "Oh my God, he feels so restricted. Like he feels like so like cramped."
Yeah.
And you think about like at the time obviously he wasn't going to be in Gear 5, but like what would happen if he had the freedom of Gear 5? Like what would the manga pages and the art look like?
If he had Gear 5 from the beginning of the series, this would have remained a full Goofy manga the entire way through.
Yeah.
When it came to fights, there would not have been as much tension. There would definitely have been tension because he would have tried to balance it out a little bit better.
Oh yeah, totally.
But every time that Luffy fought somebody, it would be funny as hell.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like it makes sense as like I said, it makes sense as to why he revealed it when he revealed it. So when he did reveal it,
Mm-hmm.
and like everybody started seeing how Gear 5 fought,
Yeah.
it was like, oh my God.
This-
It was it was freeing, which is
Yes. It was the best antithesis to the fucking shonen power up transformation that we could have ever hoped for.
and every time Gear 5 is on a page, I look forward to seeing how it's drawn
Yes.
because it's fascinating to watch.
I just this is like probably one of my favorite moments in the entire series. Not only because we're just really fucking Saturn up for a minute. Because, yeah, he recovers pretty quickly from this and does this whole swoop back thing to do what he did. Because for some reason, these guys are immortal. And there might be some... I think I have a credible theory as to why. After what we saw in the previous chapter before the current one. But, like, just the fact that he also took Kizaru out after this. Like, he's down. He does not come back after this.
Oh yeah, no, he stays down and then he's questioning about like everything
That
going
he's-
on
yeah.
and he's
Well, now it's also a matter of, since we know about the 2-week void, there's also a small chance that probably knowing that Kizaru was the one that was coming, that Vegapunk probably asked him to just go through with it. That's it's a possibility. Because at the end of the current chapter, Vegapunk is like during that flashback, Vegapunk has chosen to die. He says, "I'm gonna die anyway." So
he's gonna die anyway. So there really is.
I am gonna take it. I am gonna die, taking the world government down a notch by putting out this message that they are not going to be able to stop because these people are idiots.
Yeah, no, okay, that does make sense.
So, and I'm not saying that that's definitely what happened. It's just a possibility. And that's
It's
just
a theory that really.
it's either that's what happened or Kizaru really is just the very tired businessman that is going with emotions no matter what at this point.
I mean, either point is very viable.
Oh, both points are very viable. One just makes him
Because-
less of a sad character in the sense of he's just does whatever he's told by the world government. Whereas the other one makes him a sad character in that this man was his friend for so long, but he knew he had to kill him because that's what his friend wanted.
It just adds a little bit more spice.
A little bit more spice. I mentioned earlier that I had an idea for who could be our final Straw Hat, because I think we've got one more slot.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we got, because Luffy, not counting himself, said he wanted 10 people.
Not counting himself.
Not counting himself, because currently we're at 10, but we're like at the beginning of the series, like I'm gonna find like 10 guys, and that's gonna be my crew. We're at 9.
So yeah, not including himself.
I think Lilith is the final Straw Hat.
Oh, okay. So we're on the same page. I think I've read because like I said, I read scans on on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, Twitter. I'll never call it.
I still call it Twitter. I go to the hashtag just to see what's being leaked and spoiled and things like that, and what to look forward to. And there was a leak, and people were talking about, like, theorizing about who was going to be the next Straw Hat. Like, there was a lot of Bonnie going around, which I was fine with.
Yeah, Bonnie joining would be perfectly fine. I don't think that she will, just because she's 12.
Yeah, I think I don't know what's going to happen with her. I hope, it's good.
I hope it's good. And I hope she sticks around with the crew. I just don't think that she has to become a Straw Hat.
So it's either going to be Bonnie, but then the arc started progressing more, and then there was talk about Lilith, and I was like, I could see that happening.
I can see that happening for multiple reasons. One, it gives somebody for Frankie to fully bounce off of now, just scientific wise.
Yeah.
Because they can just do some crazy shit if they team up.
Oh my god, yeah, totally. I mean, yeah.
2, she's our Vegapunk now. The world government has York, we have Lilith.
Which before we knew anything about the characters, is kind of ironic. Because,
it's amazing
with
how
Lilith and York,
the greed and evil are the only surviving Vegapunks. But Lilith has proven that while she has evil, yes, she is not the evil. She is not true evil. She is just ambitious and really needs that funding, baby.
Morally gray.
There are
put her in that.
I wouldn't. It would be funny if she kind of joins Neo Mads. That would be kind of funny, but she can't just be out in the world, much like Bonnie. She can't just be out in the world running around doing whatever she wants at this point.
Yeah, it's becoming like Robin's situation.
Yeah, because if the world government finds out that Lilith is still alive, they are going to take her out.
Oh yeah,
no question.
No hesitance. Just
so she needs to be with people who can protect her in the same way, like you said with Robin, like that just to keep her safe. That is what is necessary for this situation. So I think the best option would be for her to become a Straw Hat. I also just can't think of anybody else who would join the crew at this point. There's no way we're getting too many new characters introduced in the next couple of arcs outside of the giants. And no giant is going to join the crew unless they got the small fruit.
Yeah. I don't see in Elbath. I think one of my hopes is that it's going to be an Usopp arc.
It has
mostly.
to be. It has to be an Usopp arc. Not super centric, but he needs to play a major role. We can't have him going to Elbath like we had Frankie go to Egghead and nothing come of it.
Because one, this is what his character has been waiting for since
forever.
Little Darden.
Yeah.
And 2, it's high time that he gets some attention.
Yeah. And he
because
doesn't need hockey. I know everybody's like, well, he's
oh
got to
yeah,
refine
no.
his observation hockey. No, he doesn't really need to. It'd be cool if he did, but he doesn't really need to. But he
He
needs that
needs
motion.
something.
Yeah.
He
And
needs something.
and
Give my boy something, please.
there's also like the very good chance that this is the first Straw Hat that will achieve his dream.
Mm.
There's
Because his yeah, with his dream being he wants to be a warrior of the sea.
and the giants are his vision of that. And if he finds some way to be recognized by them, that would be him achieving his dream. Is he gonna die afterwards? All of you, oh, a Straw Hat's gonna die in the future, people? No. Oda was talking about the Mary back then. Stop saying Usopp's gonna die. I
I
really
totally forgot that argument
I
existed.
hate that theory so much because Oda literally came out and said, "Yeah, no, that was about the Mary."
That was about Mary, that happened years ago.
Oh my god! But no, everybody forgets, and everybody continues to focus. Like, oh, it's got to be Usopp. He's the only one whose dream is like achievable, but also it's kind of like not the strongest dream in the world. So obviously he's gonna die at one point, which is gonna set the Straw Hats in motion, and that's when they're gonna start pulling off their agenda across the world. Straw Hats don't have an agenda. Luffy just does what he wants.
Luffy is just there.
If you feed Luffy, he save your ass.
Yeah, essentially.
That's his agenda.
Give him like
Give him food
him a
and
dinner.
He'll do what you want. Don't try to tell him a backstory though, or he'll fall asleep.
Mm-hmm. Leave it to the others to pick up the slack on that end.
I love that. Luffy is. I don't think Luffy has ever really listened to anybody's backstory.
One of my favorite is actually let's do a little bit of time traveling here. Is in Nami's arc with the Arlong Park arc, where Nojiko tries to tell them like, oh, this is what
This
this is
going
why
on.
Nami is the way Nami is. And Luffy's like, I don't want to hear it, and falls asleep.
He doesn't. He doesn't even fall asleep. He walks away. Zoro's the one who fell asleep.
Oh, that's right.
Luffy's
He goes
just
on
like,
this walk.
I'm going for a walk. I'm out of
I
here.
don't want to hear it. Bye. And everybody else is listening intently, and he's
And
like,
then-
I don't care. I'm just gonna walk over here.
And then, of course, like the fucking Fishman Islands backstory, where he falls asleep in the first 5 minutes of Jinbei talking about it.
yeah, Jinbei's like opening his heart, and he's very apologetic because he realizes who Nami is.
Mm-hmm. He realizes not even that he realizes who Nami is. He finds out that Nami was like at the epicenter of what he released into the world.
So it's just like he's really apologetic. He's on his hands and knees, and Luffy is just snoring.
Luffy doesn't care. Like, I'm already gonna help my friend out if he needs it. I'm gonna take a nap.
I love Luffy. He's such a good main character.
What the hell did I hit? Oh, okay. He's fucking great.
But
What
yeah,
a-
back to the whole Straw Hat's gonna die theory.
Yeah, fuck that theory.
I think people seem to forget that it's not Law or Kid.
Well, yeah.
Like, it's the Straw Hats. Luffy's gonna do whatever he wants to do. They have no like big agenda. I mean, yeah, Luffy's like king of the pirates, and like everyone has their own individual goal.
And whatever
but
his actual fucking dream is, like, we still
Yeah.
don't know at this point.
Which is going to be very interesting when we do find out. But it's just that whole theory is such a weird thing because
It's people wanting something like that to happen because they don't think that One Piece is dark enough. Which I would argue, have you looked at any flashback ever?
they want the angst and all the grit and the darkness, and it's like it's
Not
literally
this-
One Piece.
This is not what
like,
this series is. It is a funny pirate manga. I don't care what you say. It will always be a funny pirate manga. It's got its darkness because everything has its darkness, but it's overshadowed by the fact that it's a funny pirate manga. It's supposed to be. This isn't My Hero Academia.
And it's like you said, it has its dark moments. Like if people actually paid attention and read, I know that's so much to ask for anybody to read manga and pay attention to the actual world building and the story. there are dark moments.
We have plenty of them in this arc alone.
So, like we were talking about it, the entirety of Kuma. And what happened with him?
Kuma and Bonnie are like the fucking center of the black hole for the darkness of this arc. And fucking Saint Saturn is the surrounding portion of it.
So I never understood that whole like, oh, it needs to be darker, and it's like, well,
it's people just not wanting to accept that this is mostly goofy and fun, and thinking that the story needs more darkness in the way that DC Universe thinks that every single one of their heroes needs to be a murderer on some level.
Like, oh my god, this manga is about funny pirate adventures. We gotta make it dark.
Make it darker. No, ignore the backstories that happened and how terrible certain things are.
Ignore the reasons of why the character is the way they are, and
it's just fucking. But yeah, I think Lilith is gonna join the Straw Hats in some capacity.
I could see that happening.
She's gotta. She's just gotta. She's got to be safe, is basically what I'm trying to say. I don't see another way outside of joining maybe Neo Mads, which would be hilarious if she goes and just puts Judge and Caesar in their place.
I could see that also happening because going back to like Punk Hazard and everything, I think that would be a nice little loop.
It would be a nice little loop. Because all three of those, and Stussy, we don't know where Stussy's at.
Yeah, that's
at the moment.
Kind of up in the air, isn't it?
We don't even know. The hockey wouldn't have affected her because it seems that anybody who was allied with the Straw Hats was spared from the hockey blast.
Which is a very interesting hockey when you think about it.
How did Joy Boy's disembodied hockey know who not to hit? How does that work? Please tell me.
Maybe it targets those who are oppressive,
or maybe it targets those who are hostile to the person who is using it.
Maybe
that's why.
Because we know, obviously, because Joy Boy is like,
dead.
Freedom and things like that. So maybe, well, that too. Well, like I said, so like maybe it's like people who want to harm those that surround Joy Boy.
Or
I don't know. It's weird.
It might have been like specifically set up for those who wanted to harm Emmett, essentially, or who Emmett saw as a threat. Because he would have definitely seen the entirety of the Navy as a threat, and of course the Five Elders as a threat. Which, to go on my theory for why the Five Elders were so fucking hard to kill, in that you couldn't, which is insane. I don't think they were actually there.
Oh, you think there might be like illusions or something,
like
or
a projection? I like
a body double,
essentially. Like we see them, we see that they left the chamber in the previous chapter. Like they're not there for the actual situation. I think it happened in 22, if I'm not mistaken.
So it could be like a Naruto Shadow Clone situation.
Yeah, like they come back. I love that. I love that. Like I think this is Jupiter. I don't remember his fucking name. I don't remember
any of their names. So.
I love standing grandpa who finally got to sit down because nobody was here. Because in every other panel, when all five of them are together in the same room,
oh my god, you're right.
Always standing.
His poor knees and ankles, man.
Somebody asked him recently in an SBS, asked Oda recently in an SBS as to why, and he said it's because he's always late on doing his Five Elders paperwork, so the others punish him by making him. Well, no, the others punish him by making him stand up like they do in like Japanese school when you're late or some shit.
Oh yeah, they make you stand out in the hall or something. Yeah.
So he's always got to be standing. He's not allowed to sit. But he's the first one to come back because he went out of whatever radius the summoning thing was. that when Saturn summoned everybody, he was the first one blasted away, and he's been here the whole time. Since then, these guys are just showing up after getting super blasted last panel.
Oh yeah, and he's already there.
And
Look
he's
at that.
already there. So that means when
Huh.
Luffy, Sanji, Frankie, and Bonnie sent his ass flying a chapter or so ago, he went out of whatever range that summoning was and came back to the chamber. So it just makes me think that this must have been some just kind of like projection. And maybe Saint Saturn was doing the same thing and he was still technically inside of his ship, but that does get a little bit destroyed by the fact that he's right here. You know?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, because if their powers literally make them immortal, that is insane. Like, how do you fight something that you can't actually beat? Because they came back from
All right.
a lot.
Everybody push him into the ocean.
Just, you know,
Submerge them.
we haven't had
Get
full
cinder blocks.
we haven't had full confirmation that they're devil fruit users yet.
Oh, okay. So they can just do the things they do. That's okay.
Maybe.
And they're immortal too.
And they're immortal. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
How are we supposed to deal with that?
We're it's gonna get explained. I'm sure it'll be explained.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like, Oda is not one to just leave this kind of stuff up in the air. Has he left us like hanging before? Yes, but never at this level.
Where it's so plain and obvious and right in the face that it's like, what's going on?
I also love the confirmation that this little flashback gave us. Emmett's been naked this whole time. He was wearing clothes in the past.
Oh.
He's been walking around with this thing out.
Somebody get this guy some clothes.
Well, he's dead now, so it's fine. You know he's dead.
Get him
He's not coming back.
He's dead.
He's not coming
There's
back.
no
after
way.
that.
There's no way that something of this caliber is not to be destroyed after what they witnessed what it can do.
Especially,
there's just no way.
Especially with Saturn still standing after that, because, yeah, the hockey blast knocked him out of his fucking spider form, but he absolutely did not get knocked out by that.
Which is also another interesting thing that happened with its hockey.
Well, that might just be a power scaling thing kind of situation. Like, it's
just so weird.
I mean, it was strong enough to knock all these fuckers out of the fucking fight. Like, they were definitely affected by the hockey. It's just not anywhere near as bad as everyone else. Also, I didn't realize the chin guy down here on reread, he apparently has an otter-based Zoan devil fruit.
Okay.
It's very fast when we see it. I don't remember what chapter it was in, but it was one where he was, I think, attacking Bonnie, and he yells out Otter Hammer. He has a little tail.
Oh my god.
And he's just very small and far away, and it's hard to see in the panel. I'm sure the anime is going to play with it a lot more. But yeah, the otter devil fruit has been eaten. I don't know what category that would be, or if it would be on its own. I feel like it would be like, I don't think that.
Huh?
What genus are otters part of? The weasel family? They're basically water weasels, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's the weasel fruit model otter. I don't know. Anytime it's a water-based creature's devil fruit, I just sit there going like, you've lost an entire thing that you can do with that devil fruit, and it feels like
you
a
really
waste.
drew the short end of the stick on that, huh?
Not to say that otters aren't like, have their advantages like in their own right, but their major advantage is they're supposed to be able to swim really well.
Yeah, their major advantage is in the water, which is something devil fruits can't use.
and if we're going off of the fact of how the world used to look, There wasn't as much water as there used to be.
Well, when you got, elders blasting holes in mountains.
Well, we don't know if the elders were there back then. We haven't had confirmation that they've been around since the beginning of the world government. We don't even really know if Emu's been around since the beginning or if he's just like a descendant. I mean, it's heavily leaning towards the fact that he was there from the very beginning. When we found out that the Nefertari family were part of the D clan.
Which was a very fun revelation.
Fucking anime only watchers are in for it. Like in 3 weeks, because there's a break this week for the anime, and they're doing a little clip show.
Yeah.
Next week.
But it makes sense, because when you think back to Alabasta and the characteristics of whatever character carries the initial D, it's like, oh yeah, no, Vivi definitely
she's got
embodies that.
Yeah, she got that in there a little bit. And when Cobra died, he was smiling, so he had that. He didn't even know he was a D then. He just found out, and then he still died with a smile on his face.
But it's revelations like that where it's like, oh yeah, no, I like that. I like how it adds a little bit of a character that we've seen Vivi recently, but obviously,
she's the other option for the 10th Straw Hat, because where else is she gonna go at this point?
Yeah, she's kind of
It's not a good position at the moment.
No, nobody is really. When you think about it.
Nobody except the Straw Hats are really in a good position at the moment.
The tensions are so high that something's got to snap.
I know we said this already, but the bounty increase has to happen after this.
It does. I don't know what they're gonna do to it to make it.
I mean, we got to get closer to 56, right? Because his final bounty has to be 5.6 billion. It has to.
What was curiosity? What was Roger's bounty?
44 billion something. He was the highest. So he's got to be higher than Roger, and 56 is Luffy's number. It's everywhere plastered on him in most cases. The baseball thing I mentioned earlier had 56 on the helmet, had 56 on the bat, because you can read 56 in Japanese as Gomu.
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole bit. There's the bit.
I can see Oda doing that because of that bit.
But I don't think it can be this one. Because it's got to be his bounty for after he officially becomes the Pirate King and achieves his dream.
So, yeah, maybe it is going to be his final bounty.
But there has to be an increase because he's the only one of the 3 billion boys that survived. He survived a massive Buster Call and a fight with all 5 of the elders.
I just know that with them going to Elbath, like I said, the tension is so high that something has got to give.
Oh, yeah. And then also, not even just to mention into that, he's the one who's gonna get blamed for Vegapunk's death.
Oh yeah, no, they'll do what they always do and spin it, and
the world government is gonna say that the one who killed the Apple Man was Luffy, which is gonna send his notoriety through the fucking roof. He's not gonna care. He knows it's not true. He doesn't give a shit. And all it's gonna do is make him more wanted, and that's just more fun. Also,
with
I just looked at this. So this is them. This is all of their forms before the blast, and we see them turn back. Worm Man, Worm here, Worm Man.
Oh,
I love his position that he's in when he turns back into a human form. That is a guy going, huh?
Well, that happened.
So these are my life choices, huh?
Well, it's just now that we've talked about it, this entire panel page is so funny.
It is so funny.
They're obviously in their monster forms or their forms or whatever, and then they get blasted into their human forms, and then they get sent back, and the other guy is just sitting on the couch.
He's been there for at least 10 minutes.
I wonder if there was like a screen and he was just watching it.
No, but he definitely could feel it because apparently they got that weird like fucking mental connection going on. Which
Do you think they could be like the same person?
a lot of people are theorizing that these guys are just breakoffs from Emu.
Like it's a like another Vegapunk situation.
Kinda,
Like
yeah.
it's a yeah.
And that would also explain their immortality in this situation because if they're not actually real and they're just breakoffs from whatever Emu's devil fruit is, because
Whatever emo is.
whatever he is, because we saw that he's got some kind of weird ass form because he was the one who killed Cobra with whatever that was with the fucking arrow tail thing back during the reverie, which God, I can't wait for that scene in the anime.
It's gonna be like a giant ass scorpion or something.
Well, no, he was like lizard like. It was
He was a lizard
I gotta try to remember where that was. Okay, no, this is okay. So this is just after. So it's either I think I clicked on 87. So it's either 86 or 85. Oh yeah, man, poor Don Quixote. Oscar's dead.
Yeah.
Okay. He's doing the escape. There he is. That's Emu.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's coming down from the throne. There's no question that one is Emu.
So maybe he's like a chameleon?
Or just like an actual devil?
Oh.
Like because he's got the little fucking that's his like that's from him. The arrow thing is from him. Cuz that's not one of Saint Saturn's like spider tails or spider legs like we saw. That's
Yeah.
an arrow of some kind. Because and we know that that's not like, oh, this is Oda just playing around with what it was. No, you can pretty like now that we've seen everybody, you can easily tell who's what.
Yeah.
Like just no question.
And it would also make sense if he was literally the devil because
I mean, you know, that would or
then he
literally
could have been there since the beginning.
or just a devil, or he's got a mythical zone fruit that is a devil. Because my God, have Zoan fruits popped off
Yeah.
in like the last 3 arcs, or in our case, since the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
But
Mythical
just
Zoan fruits are just another level.
oh my God, like mythicals are so much fun now. Especially
Back when we only really knew that it was like, oh, Marco the Phoenix.
yeah, like oh, mythical. Oh wait, gods. They can exist. There's a there's a Zeus fruit out there somewhere, huh? Like it's amazing how it turned the human fruit into one of the more sought after ones.
Yeah.
Like just no joke. Because if you get a mythical one, you've got a pretty fucking powerful devil fruit there.
But it also it really makes sense after the reveal of how devil fruits are really, made or
Or
spawn.
perceived to be made, yeah.
Yeah, is from people's hopes and dreams. So obviously, people who are oppressed or slaves or people who feel weak will want something to make them strong. So mythicals would be an ideal choice
Yeah.
to eat if they were going to eat a devil fruit.
But yeah, the anime only watchers are not ready for the Reverie flashback. They're fucking just not.
I could see it. I could totally see him just being the straight up devil. That would be so cool.
We'll see what they show when it comes down to it. Cause like I mean, the anime is gonna have a little bit more liberty to do what they want. They've probably got a little bit more information from Oda on what he actually is, so they just know what to do with it. But yeah, no, it just I don't that one's gonna be fun when we get to it. What do you think happened to Garp? Do you think he's still on Pirate Island? He's not dead. We know that.
I mean, there's just no way they're gonna get rid of a character like that.
Well, not off screen.
Oh God, no. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like it's Garp. There's just no way. Like if they're going to kill him off, then obviously they're gonna make a big show about it, especially with who he's surrounding right now. So if he is going to die, it's going to be obviously not off screen.
No. It can't.
But I don't think he's gonna die. I don't know what's gonna happen to him.
I mean, I don't think. I don't think he's not gonna die. I think he is gonna die. Because he kind of, at this point, all of the old men are dead.
Yeah.
All the old men we care about.
They're kind of killing off the older generation.
One by one. And yes, he has used a bit of Garp's sacrifice to push Kobe forward.
Yeah.
But him fully dying is going to be what will fully send the entirety of the younger generation of Marines. Just no joke.
Oh yeah, no. It's like he is a pillar. Like there's just no way that oh my god, so much character development possibility of just like because you kill a character and then obviously you can't continue that character's story, or you can have flashbacks and things like that,
which can develop
other characters.
I would argue that you can still develop a character in a flashback because Kuma's character developed so much with that flashback.
That is true.
And he has been dead canonically for 3 years at this point.
There was but yeah, no, it's going to be interesting what Oda decides to do with Garp's character, because you did make a valid point that they are killing off the older generation one by one. And
also Blackbeard wouldn't waste the opportunity to use Garp for something.
Oh yeah, no,
because
like it's Garp. Just
because remember his whole plan with Kobe. He wanted to use Kobe as a trade to make Pirate Island into a kingdom of the world government. But Kobe was like, that would never work because I'm with Sword. They're just gonna deny my existence. Yeah, he's a hero, but there's still but this is the world government. Of course they would still have said, no, fuck that. He doesn't work for us. He's on his own. But Garp is a different story. Garp is not a member of Sword. He is actually he's a much bigger bargaining chip.
He's a lot more to ignore. He definitely is a lot more to quote unquote ignore and pretend that he doesn't exist. Considering he's called Garp the hero.
He's literally like fucking loved by people across the entire world, unless you're a pirate.
So if he does use him as like some sort of bargaining chip, then you have like the elders and Imu, and then it's like you can't ignore the fact that it's Garp, because if you do, then that's going to just spiral everything else into more chaos, and that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to squash the chaos, and
especially after Vegapunk's message, which is definitely going to get a good amount of citizens
riled up
to turn on the government. It's not everybody is going to turn. That wasn't the intention of Vegapunk's message. It was the intention of Vegapunk's message, which was to get what he knew out into the world and people to do with what they will.
Shake up the foundation a little bit.
Yeah. Because in a lot of people, we saw more of an affirmation towards the world government, especially when he said that, that pirates were probably going to be the ones to decide the future because they're the closest to the One Piece. And everybody was like, what? No, fuck, no! Navy, do something!
What is going on? I mean, look what was happened with Whitebeard, like in the war, in Marineford, the war, when Whitebeard died, people were celebrating. Like the entire world was celebrating, except for the territories he obviously claimed. You know,
And also some places where like more pirate groups popped up because they were inspired by the fact, holy shit, he said that the One Piece is real. We're going out there.
yeah. So it's like it's with the whole Whitebeard dying situation. He was a pillar. He was an emperor. He was this impossibly strong man, and then he gets killed. And now and people were happy because this big bad pirate was dead. But then the places that he was protecting no longer had that protection, and then everybody kind of swarmed into chaos because suddenly the power scale has tipped.
I still love like during the post arc where like some like Navy soldiers are like, killing Whitebeard was supposed to make things better. I don't understand. Why is it worse?
Because you're so blinded by the propaganda that you can't see through the curtain.
Like, people are more insane than ever. This was supposed to calm them down. No, that didn't work even when you guys killed Roger.
Yeah, no. Look what happened when you killed Roger.
Like, it's insane. But you know, they don't look at that. Like you said, they look at the propaganda of it all.
They look at like I said, the big bad pirate is dead and we should celebrate. They don't look at the repercussions that death of a strong man, a pillar of the world, can cause.
Yeah.
So I think if you know, we go down the route of Garp is gonna die, I think it's going to be another Whitebeard moment.
It'll be another Whitebeard moment, but it's gonna be a Whitebeard moment for the Navy. Because there is gonna be a significant group within the Navy that if the world government leaves Garp to die, they're going to turn on the rest of the world government. That is going to cause a faction split with the Marines. There are going to be those that stick with Akainu and those that follow Sword.
It's just gonna it's slowly, when you take a step back and actually think about what the world government is right now, it's slowly, like you said, it's splitting up into like kind of like semi-groups. And I think once the Whitebeard 2.0 incident happens, I think it's really going to shake that up.
I mean, it's probably going to get shaken up right now. Like, to be honest, Whitebeard 2.0 has already happened.
Yeah.
Vegapunk's message signaled the starting line for the end of the race for the One Piece. Because it set everybody who is going to be the ones to go get it. The 4 emperors, a couple of members within the world government, and fucking Aokiji for some reason, who was set as a separate one. That's got some meaning in it somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because we still don't really know his full reasonings for joining the Blackbeard Pirates. We don't.
That was very weird to me.
Like,
because like it I don't know if it made sense to me why he joined. I understand why he retired, he left and things like that after the whole war.
I would too if Akainu was in charge. I would have abandoned that shit too.
And then the whole thing about him and Akainu's fight on Punk Hazard and things like that. It made sense when he was doing all of that, and then suddenly he joins Blackbeard, and I was like, what's going on?
There's got to be an ulterior motive there. There has to be a separate motive. Is he a member of Sword? I don't think so. Is the possibility there? Yes, absolutely. But
like he's a inside spy or a double agent working with somebody. That is the only conclusion I could really come to.
But we'll have to...
Who is he working with? I have no idea if he is working with somebody.
I think it would be really funny, speaking of Sword, because we know Kobe has made his declaration. He is going to try to stop Luffy, specifically Luffy, from getting to the One Piece, because he didn't think anybody else is going to get it. Which, thank you, my pink-haired son. You're amazing.
I love you, Kobe. You're amazing. I hope you continue to grow, but at the same time, sweetie.
I think he could actually, at this point, considering what we see him do at the end of like his section of this arc, where he quite literally just fucking punched what was basically a mountain coming after him and shattered it to pieces. He's stronger than we think. He's just never really fights fully. I think he can give Luffy a run for his money now. Especially now that he's determined. But what I find funny is I think Drake's full in on Luffy's side at this point.
It's so interesting to see all of the people who were kind of like indifferent or really annoyed at Luffy to just be like, oh yeah, Team Luffy, let's go.
Like, because he got to see it firsthand. He was there. He got
Magic of Luffy.
He got to witness Luffy taking down what was supposed to be the most unstoppable wall in the One Piece universe. Like, I think that Drake is in Luffy's camp at this point.
Hi Drake, welcome to the club.
Well,
Remember to drink the pro Luffy Kool-Aid.
Enjoy the pro Luffy Kool-Aid. There's flags over there that Bellamy is making for us.
It's so funny when he fights somebody and then later down the line it's like, oh yeah.
Oh god.
Go Luffy.
I hope the remnants of Big Mom's crew are gonna back Luffy in the future.
I want to see Katakuri again.
I want Katakuri to be on our side. I mean,
I
especially
want Katakuri to have a tea party with Luffy.
I mean, especially since, Big Blackbeard kind of stole his sister.
Yeah.
So there's not really a reason for them to want to back the Blackbeard Pirates unless they just really think they can't win and they don't have a choice. But I don't think that's a possibility.
I just want to see Katakuri again.
I mean, we got to see him. We got to see the back of him in this.
The back of him.
Yeah, the back. And also that one moment in the cover story earlier on, or was that during Wano?
I think that was during Wano.
That was during Wano. That's when Neomads popped in. That's right. But yeah, so I hope that at least a good portion of the Big Mom Pirates join the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, because it's gonna get bigger.
It's interesting how the pieces are falling into place.
Mm-hmm. You can tell we're in the final portions of this series.
Yeah, because it's building up to something, and I think it's just full on war, but it's building to something, and it makes me very excited to see where each character that we've been following lands on the board, because with this, especially this panel right now, we see the whole thing with Sabo and everything, so that means obviously the Revolutionary Army.
I mean,
so it's
and even the Revolutionary Army, both Dragon and Sabo were shown as people who are in the running for the One Piece.
So yeah, so it's just interesting to see everything slowly coming together.
Yes, we've been building for the last 25 years.
I'm so excited.
And we got another 5 or so years to go, and we'll finally be done with the series.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life when it ends. Finally,
we're gonna go back and rewatch the entire thing front to back. Duh.
5 years. Wow.
I mean, 5 years is honestly being generous. There's a good chance it might be longer than that.
Yeah.
It really. Elbath is going to determine how much longer we have. If Elbath is a short arc, we don't have too much longer. If Elbath is a long arc, we've got a good couple more years to go.
It really depends, like you're saying, what happens in Elbath.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever happens, it determines how long we stay there.
Yep. Are we going to be dealing with an entire royalty situation? Are we going to be dealing with are we going to go into another Civil War arc, like we do sometimes when we land on an island? Who knows? We'll see.
You never know. And Luffy's just like, give me food and I'll fight for you.
Well, I mean, he's already in Dorian Broggy's
oh yeah, no
camp. He doesn't. They gave him food a long time ago. And they gave him food right now. So
Yeah.
they covered that part. They checked that off the list real quick.
Feeding them while they're squeezing them like a stress toy.
Uh,
Uh,
but yeah, this entire arc is just insane, and I love it. This has become my favorite arc, and that's saying something because Annie's Lobby is so good.
I love One Piece.
I
It's
love
such
One
a good
Piece.
story.
If I redid my tier list, much like I said back in the day, that time when I did it, because I did do a tier list of the arcs with Robbie and Tamer.
Oh wow.
Back then, I said at the moment, Egghead is top of S tier, and I still feel that way. This
Yeah, Egghead has been a treat
this is
to enjoy.
this has exceeded every expectation I had for this arc that we could possibly have. It's insane.
It's just like one of my favorite things in stories as a whole is like lore.
Oh,
So like
good.
I've just been
We got nothing but lore throughout this entire arc.
I've just been feasting. It's so good.
It's been absolutely nuts. I think we can go ahead and end things for this year.
We've talked about a lot of stuff.
We have. I will be back a little bit later on because I have another stream in about a little less than an hour and a half, or less than an hour actually, 7:30. I want to get some food in me because I have not eaten yet.
It is dinner time.
Well, for me, it's breakfast.
Well,
I only
you
just
wake
woke up 2 hours ago.
Your sleep schedule is different from my sleep schedule.
Yes, it is. But yeah, didn't really have much interaction in the chat, and I'm not sure if anybody really watched, and that's perfectly fine. But I hope everybody who did come in has a nice time. We'll be back with Lethal Company later on. See ya. Goodbye. Later.
Goodbye.
Bye. I'm not rating this time because there's nobody here. Bye.